Hi, I'm Karen Nyberg of the STS-124 crew, and you're watching NASA TV.
Good morning, Discovery, and a special good morning to you today, Karen.
Good morning, Shannon, and everybody in Houston. Thank you so much for waking us up with that beautiful song.
And you're very welcome.
Good morning from the Shuttle Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Flight Day 7 of the STS-124 mission, Discovery's flight to the International Space Station. At this hour, about an hour following their wake-up,
beautiful. You don't see the borders between countries. You're moving very quickly over the planet. You go from California to New York in about 10 minutes at that speed, and it's just an incredible sight to see.
In your words, why is Kibo such a big deal?
So the Japanese laboratory, Kibo, the laboratory that we carried to space and installed on the space station, it's an incredible asset. Its capability is pretty extensive compared to the U.S. laboratory. It's bigger. It has more room for science. So over the years, we're gonna utilize that capability, and in my opinion, we're gonna make some pretty interesting scientific discoveries. So in that regard, it's a big deal not only for Japan and the United States and Russia and the partners, the European partners, Canadians, but I think it's a big deal for everybody on the planet.
Mark, Gabby told me that if I asked you why you're an astronaut, you would tell me that it's fun. But I know there has to be more than that. Why do something so profound?
Before I was an astronaut, I was a Navy pilot and a Navy test pilot, and to me, it's kind of a continuation of a career in naval aviation and in aerospace. But I think it's an important job. It's certainly there's some risk involved, and without the personal satisfaction and the benefit. Not only the benefit to me, I mean the benefit of our profession to society, to our country and other countries. Without that, I think that benefit is certainly important. So, I've always been in doing this. I've been an astronaut now for 12 years. You weigh the risk and the reward, and I think the reward for our country and other countries is pretty great from doing what we do in space.
Real quickly, I have a couple seconds. You and Sergei look like you've known each other for years. Do you feel that close of a bond?
Yeah, I have known each other for years. We were crew members when I was on STS-121. Sergei was part of the expedition crew that was going to come up on that flight for a while. We've done winter survival training in Wyoming together. Sergei, myself, and one of my former crew members, Piers Sellers, we even shared a tent, I think, for about 10 days and climbed a mountain out in the wilderness. So, Sergei and I have been good friends for a long time, so it really makes this mission actually extra special for me. So when I'm showing up as the commander of the space shuttle, Sergei is the commander of the space station. So I'm really happy it turned out that way.
Thank you so much for your time. Safe travels.
You're very welcome. NPR, this is Mark Kelly and Sergei Volkov on the space station. How do you hear?
Mark, thanks for calling. Is this collect?
I suppose. I hope you're not paying the bill.
No, maybe the taxpayers are. Scott Simon here. How are you?
Scott, good to hear from you again.
Mark, I got to ask, is the toilet working? We've heard so much about it.
The toilet is working. We brought the parts, and Sergey and Oleg fixed it the other day. I'll let him comment.
Yes, we fixed it 2 days ago, and so far it works successfully, and we use it like in a normal way, and we even can share this with our shuttle guys if they want.
Mark, what has the work week been like?
Every space mission is incredibly busy, and shuttle flights, our flight lasts 14 days, and we open the hatch on day 3 of our mission, just about over 48 hours into it. We come aboard the space station with a lot of equipment, and we've already done 2 spacewalks. It's been incredibly long and busy days, but it's been very successful and satisfying.
It's your 3rd trip, Mark, and Lieutenant Colonel Volkov, you've been up there just since April 8th alone. Does the view ever become old stuff?
The view to me, this is my 3rd flight, so I've probably had, I don't know, about a little over 30 days in space right now. It does not become old to me. I love, looking down at our planet. Sergey has more time in space than I do now, so I'll let him comment about looking at the planet.
Unfortunately, we're so busy, and even we have a lot of illuminators on the station, but we really don't have enough time to be field of all these world view, actually. And of course, every time the Earth changing, and you never see the same point, actually. It is, and everything is changing. Clouds, sun shining, or maybe it's no sunshine. And what's the most beautiful, of course, is when the sunrise. It's probably the most beautiful what you can see or can imagine.
Do you ever look at the Earth and think it's just hard to imagine, hey, I'm from that place?
Yeah, I made the comment to I think it was to my pilot Ken Ham today that we're up here and everybody else is down there. All 6 billion people on the planet, and it's amazing to look down and you don't see borders between countries. You can make out cities, especially at night. See where the population centers, and it's incredible to think that we're far away circling the planet and the rest of humanity is down underneath us.
What kind of research will be possible once the Kibo is working?
Kibo is going to do research in material science, life sciences, basic physics and chemistry. Interesting thing about science in space, unlike any laboratory on Earth, a laboratory on Earth, you can control the temperature of your experiment, pressure, the humidity, all those things. You can't control gravity, and gravity affects everything. And science in space eliminates the gravity aspect of what impacts experiments on Earth. So I imagine hopefully we're optimistic that the experimentation that we'll do in Kibo will result in some amazing discoveries.
Lieutenant Colonel Volkov, you have been in space so much, and Mark, as you noted, you have at this point maybe spent a month of your life in space. Does it ever seem a natural environment to you?
Very good question. Of course, now it's not strange anymore that here is weightlessness, but I think for people, some things anyway we miss what we have on Earth. But it's great to be here. It's very exciting to be able to fly, actually, and you never fall here. But sometimes you miss this thing when you can't put something on the table or everything floating around you. Pluses and minuses in this. But it's great.
Mark?
Oh, for me, the space station is big now. It just got bigger with the addition of Kibo. And, as a kid, I used to dream what it would be like to fly around like Superman, and that's one thing you can do here. You can float from one end of the space station to another. You got to be careful because it's easy to get out of control, and you could actually hurt yourself doing that if you went too fast. But it's fun. You know, nothing has any weight, so you can pick it up. But like Sergey mentioned, can't put anything down, so it sometimes can be a little frustrating. How to manage multiple things at once is hard.
And you're able to talk with your families?
Very limited. We have a phone on board space station, an internet type of phone with a headset. It's just a matter of finding the time, really. We work from basically the second we wake up until the second we go to sleep, more or less, and it's difficult. We do have email access as well.
Thank you both very much for speaking with us from 250 miles above Earth.
Well, it's great to talk to you, Scott, and I'll talk to you later.
This is Associated Press Television. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear. Is this Marcia?
Yes. Hello, Commanders Kelly and Volkov. This is Marcia talking to you from the Kennedy Space Center. I'd like to ask you both to give your opinions of the Kibo module, how it looks, feels, smells as it starts to fill up.
Went in the other day. Kind of has it doesn't have a new car smell to it. It has a new car feel to it. It's incredibly big, a lot of room, so you have to be a little extra careful. You could get out in the middle of it and you can't reach a handrail, and you could possibly get stuck there for a little while.
I completely agree with Mark. It's awesome to enter the completely new module, and actually no one before was there space. And yeah, I agree. There's the same feeling as you feel the new, brand new thing, and it's very amazing.
How did all of you celebrate the opening of Kibo? I saw some of the acrobats going on at the initial entry, but did you have a party inside or do something else to mark the occasion?
What you saw was the party. We kind of floated around in there, taking advantage of the big space and the huger volume, and then probably within 5 minutes we were back to work.
Commander Volkov, how do you like the blue Japanese curtain or the Noren hanging over Kibo's threshold, and will you keep it up after the shuttle leaves?
I think we can keep it until how long as we would like to have. Actually, it's okay. And because it's hope, doing researchment, and it's really hope for us to discover something new, and it's real what we want to do to make researchment. I think we will leave it for a while.
Thank you for that. And another question for you, Commander Volkov. You must have been so happy, as you said earlier, when Discovery arrived with a new pump for the toilet. How much of a nuisance, how unpleasant was it for you to have to deal with a broken toilet up until this week?
You know, when you're going to be a cosmonaut or an astronaut, you have to be ready for some inconvenience. And of course, it wasn't very convenient to use the backup stuff for this thing. But I think psychologically we were ready for that, and it was okay. And we expected that Discovery will bring us a new part of our very important system. We just leave. I don't think that we were frustrated a lot.
And Commander Kelly, how did it feel to come to the rescue with the new pump? I loved your entrance line into the space station about the plumber.
We weren't coming to the rescue, Marcia. We're just bringing some spare parts that they needed. They were, even though the toilet was broken in its normal way of working, they had a backup way, and it was useful. So even when we arrived on flight day 3, we didn't even take the parts out till flight day 5. So, we left the parts in the bag, and, that says that kind of lets you know that it wasn't really that dire of a situation. Sergey and Oleg even waited about 36 hours, fixed it.
Commander Kelly, I'd like to know whether Buzz has come out of hiding yet and how he's adjusting to Infinity Beyond. Will we get to see him before Discovery leaves?
We downlinked some video yesterday of Buzz Lightyear looking out the window and ringing the space station bell, and we even took him over to dinner with us in the Russian dinner there, and he joined us for dinner.
Well, it sounds like Buzz is having a pretty good time for his chance of a lifetime then. I know you also took up 3 jerseys with you from some pretty important sports figures, Lance Armstrong, Eli Manning, and Craig Biggio. How did all those happen to end up on your flight? And have you taken them out to wear just for fun, maybe exercise on the cycle ergometer wearing the Tour de France jersey?
No, we didn't do that. They're in the locker, and we'll return them to their rightful owner after we land in a little bit over a week.
And how did they happen to all end up on your flight? Was that just coincidence?
Crew member that's a big Giants fan, one that's a Astros fan, and one that's a cycling fan. So just some acquaintances we asked, and the owners were interested. So, and we're allowed to bring a couple items like that, kind of personal in nature or something that we're interested in bringing. So those are the things we chose.
Well, thank you so much, both of you. Good luck to everyone on the crew and soft landings.
Thanks, Marcia, and we'll be talking to you later, I think.
The Canadarm2 will be grappling onto the Japanese logistics module before long in preparation for its unbolting and unberthing from the Zenith berthing port at the top of the Harmony connecting node of the International Space Station to be moved about 30 feet to be relocated and rebirthed in its permanent location on the Kibo module.
P4 2.6.
The Canadarm2 is being operated by Karen Nyberg and Greg Shamatov from the robotics workstation of the Destiny Laboratory of the International Space Station. In the meantime, Ken Ham, Discovery's pilot, along with mission specialist Ron Garan, maneuvered the shuttle robotic arm into the viewing position so that extra television views of the relocation activity would be available for Nyberg and Shamatov over on the International Space Station side of the shuttle station complex.
On that, I've got a question for you on SSC-14.
This is Mission Control Houston in the Space Station Flight Control Room. The Robotic Systems Officer reports that the Canadarm2 is now being maneuvered by Karen Nyberg and Greg Shamatov, moving in for a grapple of the Japanese logistics module. This view now from the end effector camera on the Canadarm2. Once the grapple and the rigidization is completed, Shamatov and Aki Hoshide will be working the procedures to send the commanding to drive open the bolts that have held the Japanese logistics module in place to the Zenith common berthing mechanism on the Harmony connecting node since March. And the Robotic Systems Officer reports a good grapple of the Japanese logistics module.
Hey, nice work, Karen and Aki. It was beautiful.
Nice work.
We're making sure we're ready. We're not quite ready for step 3 yet, waiting on our evaluation of the number in P8. I'll call you here in a second.
Okay, copy. Thank you.
We're about 17 minutes away from entering an orbital sunrise. In the meantime, a good view of the Canadarm2 with a firm grasp on the Japanese logistics module. that is just about unbolted now from the Harmony connecting node.
Houston Station on Space 124 CDM. We're going to proceed with 1.9 deploying capture latches.
Okay, we concur.
All the bolts have now been released. Capture latches about to be commanded open.
Discovery on Header 2 for EVA.
Karen Nyberg and Greg Shamatov now have taken the brakes off of Canadarm2, the Canadian-built 58-foot-long space station robotic arm about to begin to back away, and with it, the Japanese logistics module. Although barely perceptible, you can see motion as the Japanese logistics module now is being unberthed from the common berthing mechanism on top of the Harmony module. The robotic arm being operated by Karen Nyberg and Greg Shamatov, everything going very smoothly. Once the logistics module is clear, Nyberg and Shamatov will maneuver the arm in a lateral direction about 30 feet to rebirth it and bolt it into place on top of the Japanese Kibo module.
Can see in this view the station shuttle arm where it's berthed on one end to the mobile transporter on the station's truss, and with the other end moving the logistics module about 30 feet from where it was on top of the Harmony node to its permanent home on the Kibo laboratory. Logistics module's inching closer to its permanent home on the Kibo laboratory. Logistics module's about 14 feet wide, like the laboratory and many of the other modules on the station are, but it is also about 14 feet long compared to the laboratory's 37 feet. The logistics module will serve as a storage area for the experiments that will be done in the Kibo laboratory. Teams on the ground are reporting that the alignment is good and everything looks ready. This is a view from the centerline camera looking out the window on the Kibo laboratory hatch where the logistics module will be installed.
PM operator, the maneuver to RTL is complete. You have a go for first stage capture.
Copy that. Good job.
Logistics module is now in place and ready to begin the actual capture between the two berthing mechanisms on both the modules. Aki Hoshide and Greg Shamatov are going to be working through that procedure to actually connect the two modules together now that they're both in place. They'll be using the common berthing mechanisms that Mike Fossum and Ron Guerin prepared during yesterday's spacewalk to do that. Now that mission specialist Karen Nyberg and flight engineer Greg Shamatoff have got the logistics module into place, and all the ready to latch indicators are showing that the module is ready. Shamatoff and mission specialist Aki Hoshide, who you just heard talking with Station Capcom Chris Cassidy, are getting ready to begin the actual connection of the logistics module. Aki Hoshide and Greg Shamatoff have now completed connecting those 16 bolts at 3:04 p.m. Central Time.
And SSRMS operator, go for SSRMS brakes on.
That's complete.
Station Houston for CBA.
And Houston Station on Spaceman 2.
Aki, we read our minds here.
Because I think...
No, you go. No, I'll go.
Definitely not each other, but we're reading each other.
All right. Hey, I think we're thinking the same thing. Great work today by you and Greg and Taz and Greg and Taz. And we'll pick up in step 4 and complete the procedures. So with that, I think you guys are done with CBM stuff. Nice work.
Okay, copy that. Thanks a lot for all of you on the ground helping us out.
The Japanese logistics module, which you can see in this screen, is now connected to the Kibo laboratory. Now the the station robotic arm that carried it to the Kibo laboratory from its temporary home on the Harmony module can release it. It'll be a little while yet before the astronauts can go into the logistics module, though. There will be some leak checks to perform from the ground, as well as some vestibule outfitting, similar to what the astronauts did a couple days ago when the Kibo laboratory was installed on the Harmony node. As you can see, the space inside the Kibo laboratory is filling up quickly. Yesterday, 7 of the 8 racks that launched inside the logistics module were moved from the logistics module and into the laboratory, where they'll be staying permanently. The 8th was moved the day before, and since Kibo was launched with 4 racks, that gives it a total of 8 of the equipment and experiment racks inside. It has a room for a total of 23. Today, crew members have been working on configuring those racks now that they are installed, getting them ready for use.